Are you ready to boost your confidence when selling so you're able to close more deals? Nikki Roush will show you how to build a foundation of skills and a mindset that creates sales success without feeling pushy or salesy and without fear of rejection. She is a sales strategist and coach with more than 25 years of sales experience and is master certified in neuro-linguistic programming. This is a radically different approach to selling. It's a no sleaze, no slime, and no stress approach to building your business. This is Sales Maven. Here's Nikki.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Roush. I'm your own personal sales maven, here to offer you tips, techniques, and strategies to master your sales conversations. Today is an on-air coaching call with one of my favorite clients, Cori Myka. Cori is a member of the Sales Maven Society. She is also a former VIP client. And Cori, I'm so excited that you said yes. Welcome to the show, friend.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited for you to be here. So first, because I know quite a bit, I feel like I know quite a bit about you, but tell the listeners a little bit about you and about your businesses. Yeah.
With a lilt at the end.
Tell us about you.
So my primary business that we first started working together with is Orca Swim School. So we teach adult beginning and overcoming fear in water. And it's really what makes us unique is that we take the skills and how learning works out of the water, which requires all the mental work and the mental foundational work. We take all that and we apply it to swimming. It's not, how do you move your arms and legs? That's obviously a part of it, but that comes secondary to taking care of the mind, the fear, the anxiety, the worry, the am I good enough, all that kind of stuff. So that has been our business for 21 years now, which is a little amazing to say. And then a lilt at the end, the business is I'm also now doing life coaching because all that practice in the water is just how life works. So I'm helping people bridge that part of it too.
So like Cori, you are an absolute expert on mindset and how to overcome fear. And so I am so excited for this new aspect of the business that you've been teaching people something that was very tailored towards, all like the stuff that you need in all areas of your life, but you were helping adults let go of the fear so that they could really start to enjoy a new aspect in their life. Like we've talked about this, like, one from a parent standpoint, if you don't swim and your kids are in the water, like, is there a safety issue with that? Or do you want to go on vacation with your friends and family and really enjoy a beautiful location and be able to get in the water and feel safe? And so I just have always been such an admirer of the work that you do because you're really changing people's lives, like in the biggest possible way. So now doing this, taking all of these things that you know about mindset and fear and helping them apply it to other areas of their life outside of the water is just like, what a gift that you're giving people now.
Thank you. Yeah, it's funny that you say what a gift I'm giving. I always see this. It's such a gift that I receive, right? Every time I work with somebody, it is a gift that I receive. I am always so honored and humbled to walk with somebody on whatever their journey is and whatever place and piece their journey is. Some people's it's like big and wild and like the amazing hug. I always share Rhonda's hug, the hug that I got from her on the back of the boat after she swam in Hawaii for the first time. I mean, I carry that hug with me. It's been 1.5 years now since we did that. So it's that, just phenomenal feeling to something just much more modest too, that it is as powerful. They're just equally powerful because, it's just so honoring to be able to be with people when they're facing challenges or making change in their life.
Yeah. I get that concept of like that it is a gift for you too. Like you're making this huge impact. You definitely have a servant's heart. Every time I see you, every time we talk, you always show up from this place of like really making a difference in the community. About swimming in particular, I remember when we first started working together, you had shared a statistic with me that it's a huge statistic about the number of people who do not swim.
Yeah,
Will you share that?
It's about 50%. So that it's 46% are afraid in swimming pools and 64% in deep water and oceans and lakes. So I kind of go for the middle there and say it's about half of the adult population doesn't know how to swim or is afraid in water or is in that area. And there's a lot of shame in that for people because there's the assumption if you're a swimmer or even if you're not a swimmer, people just sort of assume, well, it's something you just learned as a kid and I missed out and now I should be embarrassed or it's too late for me or that sort of thing.
Yeah. I remember there's somebody in my life who I love and adore, and I love the water. I learned to swim as a young child, and I feel most really at home in water. Like that feels like that's my life source is water. And I remember going somewhere with this person for the first time and them being really uncomfortable. And I didn't really understand what the uncomfortableness was until they really at some point kind of, it was almost like they felt like they had to confess. They were not a strong swimmer. They didn't really have a lot of belief in their skill set of swimming. And so, being in the ocean was really uncomfortable for this person. And, floating a river was like totally out of that. Like that was never going to happen. And, but I also think about now what you're doing and being able to apply this. There are so many places I think in our lives where we do feel shame about not being capable in whatever it is that we want. And so we feel some shame around it. We don't really talk about it and not really even sure how to seek help. Right. And then now here you show up with this new offering to help people overcome these fears, let go of shame, and really embrace some new area of their life. So tell me from a life coach standpoint, what are, in addition to swimming, obviously, but what are some other like key areas that people sometimes really struggle with, where it really does behoove them to work with somebody like you?
Yeah, well, I think that piece that you said in the story of your friend, where she didn't have confidence around the water, but that really key piece, she didn't have belief in herself, right? I mean, this is a key thing that we teach is for people to trust themselves and have belief in themselves, really have their own back. I mean, I was working with a client today and we were talking about, at some point in time, it seems like we have all been taught that being hard on yourself and belittling yourself and like talking to yourself in a way that you would never talk to another person. We somehow think this is going to like make us do things. It's going to have us pull up those bootstraps and get stuff done or, and it just really isn't true. We know it's not really useful to talk to other people that way, but we are so conditioned to talk to ourselves that way. And so I think that's one of the big things is having a coach, somebody who's outside of your head to have that perspective for you and to share that perspective and to show you really how your thinking is affecting what you're doing in the world, how you're showing up in the world, if that's for your family or for your work, or even really for yourself. Like I've been working quite a bit with very successful women who are either successful in their career and their kids are kind of growing up and they're like, well, everything's going well, but what's in it for me? I know I can get stuff done, but I still kind of just time is going and going and going by. And am I really finding the meaning in my life that I want? Or am I really driving my life or in control of my life? And working with women in that. And then I'm also seeing a lot of folks who are in that early retirement stage, especially this year, people who thought they were going to travel and thought, life was going to be one way, and it turns out the circumstance is different. And how do I get back in control and feel in control in the driver's seat. And, but it really stems from that piece again, of that belief in yourself, that trust in yourself, having your own back.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, thank goodness that you're doing what you do. So, how can I serve you today? What would be something that is useful for you of what's going on right now as you are putting yourself out there to serve more people? How can I serve you?
Yeah, well, I think I really appreciate you, Nikki, asking me about both sides. This business I've had for a very long time and have a relationship with, and understand that client really well. And I'm moving into this other area that is new, and I'm kind of, as the pun goes, testing the water on it. But I know there's a lot of people in my current customer base who would benefit and find use in this new offering. So I'm really working on this, kind of bridging the gap of this new offering and this other work that they could be doing, while I'm still offering them, especially as things start to open up again, and we'll be able to open Hawaii retreats and things like that again. We'll be offering more of our traditional products as well, and kind of not wanting to, build that relationship and that rapport, but not overwhelm them with too many things. So I think that's where I'm struggling right now, in that bringing them into something new and how to do that without kind of having them go, what are you talking about? I was here for this, and now you're talking about this other thing.
Yeah. So I always go back to, we have to plant the seeds and we have to bridge the gap for people so that it starts to make a little bit more sense. So a couple things come to mind is when your clients are, or let me think about this now, maybe even taking some success stories, right? And I know you have a ton of them, right? Some of these you have in videos, some of these you have in written testimonials. And maybe take some of those some of the key language around like the overcoming the fear or the change that makes in their life in some way. And how can you take some of those and start relating it to, this is what's possible for you with swimming. And what people don't often realize is this is also what's possible for you in other areas of your life. Imagine taking this, key phrase from a testimonial or something and saying, imagine if you were able to feel this way about your transition, the empty nester, or if you're struggling with your early retirement, and feeling that sense of accomplishment, feeling that sense of pride around that you have done something that matters, and maybe starting to plant those seeds. Now, I know that you send out a newsletter, so you could be doing this in the newsletter. You probably need to be doing this on social media and start making the connection. And then there needs to be, like, once that connection is made, this is just an idea too, by the way, like test it and see how it works. But once that connection is made, there needs to be that next call to action. So, schedule your, session with Cori. I also am wondering, I tend to be more of, I would say, like, I'm a towards type language person that attracts me. Like, what am I going to get? How is it going to benefit me? What are going to be my results? And away from language is like the things we don't want to have. So we're going to take this action so that we no longer feel pain or whatever. But I'm wondering for you if maybe an away from language around a coaching package would be helpful, because these people often come to you because they have fear of something. And so if you had a package that, or you had some type of way where you were promoting the idea of letting go of the fear to achieve your goal. That's not a good title, by the way. I'm not great with titles off the top of my head, but I'm not sure if you understand where I'm going with this, of like really giving people an idea of like making the connection around how, because they were able to achieve this, overcoming fear in this one area of their life, people often don't recognize that if you can do this in one area, you can also do it in another area of your life. And it's just having that same process, that same coaching, and so here's an offer to coach with an expert at overcoming fear.
Right. I really like that last piece that you had there of the, if learning to overcome your fear in one area. And it really is about the process, bringing that process forward, because that's what we have seen over time. Why we're so successful is because we have a process for taking people through the steps. The actual steps comes from the students because it has to be at their pace and their way, but we have the process for them to do it. And that is what the life coaching is. It's taking people through a process as they figure out how the individual steps happen. So bridging that for them, I think would probably be very useful. It's funny how people forget that they were given a process with the Learn to Swim. They will oftentimes go back and say, oh, it's because you told me what to do with my arms and legs. No.
So you might have to break it down a little bit and plant some seeds around, maybe even around the process of you may remember the time where you thought it was about moving your arms and legs. And what we actually did here was a process. We now take that same process and we apply it to other areas of your life. And it may feel like you're just learning how to move your arms and legs, but actually what we're doing is we're changing some mindset, because mindset is the key, right? Like mindset really is, I think, the key to everything, right? Like when you can really get in tune with your mindset and understand how to unlock or uncover blind spots or change patterns, like there's such freedom in that.
Totally. Yes. Yeah. See patterns, change patterns, release patterns. Absolutely. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
And I know you know this from coaching with me that I love a structure. I love to teach structure. And I think you do too. And so, I always teach it as the selling staircase. And anytime I'm trying to teach a concept, I always try to apply a structure to it. Like, here's the step-by-step approach. And maybe it is laying out your step-by-step approach and inviting these people back to learn about the step-by-step approach, but you're actually not doing it for them, right? That's what they have to pay you money for. But maybe it is an event where they can come and learn about the steps to overcoming fear. And maybe you do lay out the process. I mean, I do this in my own webinars and trainings. I talk about the 5 steps to the selling staircase. I talk about the selling staircase and how do you move people from one step to the next. But I'm not giving a lot of how, I'm giving a lot of what. Because the how is what you pay me money for. And the how is the stuff that when we work on this together, this is where my clients get major changes in their, selling success, because everything is tailored to them. They start to understand that process. So I'm also wondering about that as a way to draw these people in who you already have the know, like, and trust factor with them. They already trust you. Right. So now we need to just put an offer in front of them of here's how to take this next step. Here's how to overcome this next piece in your life, or here's how to let go of something that's been holding you back.
Yeah, I really like that piece of going back. So that is very useful for both because our mailing, we have people who have taken classes with us and people who are looking, right? We have a general newsletter that goes out once a week. And then we do send some specific things to people who are our members. But I like this idea of either reminding them or it's educating the new people that there is a process, and that it was about that process of what unlocked it for them. I could see that being very useful to go to the next, help them see going to the next step.
Yeah. And now it's just breaking it down and putting it in a way that is, I would say, chunking it down or giving it in bite-sized pieces so that people can go like, oh, okay, I get it. Here's this one piece that I could go and maybe see some results from. So that felt awesome. And now I want more from Cori. And the thing about you is that you have people who have already seen huge results from you, right? This idea of like, I didn't know how to swim and now I do. Not only do I know how to swim, but I can jump off a boat in Hawaii. And before that was like the most terrifying thing you could have ever asked me to do, and get out of the water and feel confident and feel okay about that. Like there are other areas of your life where you probably are already hesitant to jump in the water because you're not quite sure what to do when you're there, or you're worried about your reaction. Like we're going to work through those things. Here's how to do that. Here's the next step. Hire Cori, do a life coaching package or a overcoming fear package, whatever you decide to call it. And the biggest thing is continuing to just put yourself out there, Cori, and you have to talk about it all the time, right? Like you need to even bring into your swim classes. This reminds me of a client that I'm working with right now who isn't learning to swim, but is learning how to overcome such and such. And here's how this same process applies to her. Like planting those seeds for the people who are doing swim lessons with you.
Right. Well, and that brings up an interesting point too, because I am not teaching as much myself. Mm-hmm. I'm training teachers. And that's really my focus for next year is to train teachers. It's always been really a desire of mine to train lots of teachers because there are so many people who want to do this work. Yeah. I can't possibly teach everybody. And a reason for switching and for adding in the life coaching, because that voice can go to more people than I can physically be in the water with people. That's a very limited capacity. So getting the work out to more people in that capacity. So yeah, do you have any thoughts about that on how to help staff bridge that gap because they wouldn't be doing the life coaching part of it. Although they'd be experiencing it from me because I really coach them.
Yeah. Where my brain goes, because I'm very sales mindset focused, is you have to incent them. There has to be some incentive for them to talk about this or make this offer or put this in front of the people who are in the pool. And that's not going to work for everybody because, again, you're working with people who have a teacher mindset, not really a sales mindset. So how can you incent them? There's always you could go to money, right? Like you could incent them with money, but that usually works for people who have a very sales mindset like me. Like I love to be incented by money. You can reward them or recognize them by having a leaderboard or some kind of way that you're tracking, like who's sending, who's helping, and you have to think about how you position it too, but who in the organization is making opportunities for their students to expand their growth outside of the pool. Right. And then we have a way to track it and we have to put it in front of them regularly, whether it's an email that goes out to everybody that shows the leaderboard, like Sarah referred, 3 of her swim, what am I trying to say? Her swim participants. Thank you. 3 swim participants into a life coaching program. Thanks, Sarah. You have to recognize and acknowledge that. And that still will bring out some competitive nature for other people, like other swim instructors. They're going to be like, I would like for Cori to recognize me this week. So I'm going to make sure that I do talk about it. Whereas some of your swim instructors will be like, I don't even know why we're talking about this. I'm a swim instructor. I have no idea. I'm never going to bring this up, and that's fine. That's just part of it. I think for you though, of really how you're going to probably build your business is going to be outside of your students. Right. So what is another way for you to build your business? And I know you're doing these things like podcast guesting and talking about your expertise and, driving leads to your list and then following up with your list and making offers to your list. Like that's really the way for you to expand the, really your visibility, right?
Right.
We just got to expand your visibility in the marketplace. And you got to put offers out. You have to give people an opportunity to hire you.
Right. Yes. Yeah. That was useful to think of with the staff, because I remember you saying once about something about that if you can't just go out and hire somebody to do your sales for you. Like, you have to know how to do sales.
You do.
And then you can, have a staff person or have somebody else or, so yeah, I mean, I know it's really important that I figure that piece out for myself. And I think it's really about me believing deeply and inspiring others, right, to want to talk about it. And as we grow into more staff, it really is thinking about not just having them refer on to the life coaching side of things, but to make a real stand for clients to continue to do more classes with us, to really see themselves going to Hawaii, right? That seems like that's somebody else's dream. It couldn't possibly be my dream, but it really is up to the teachers to help create that vision for the students that, no, that's for you too.
So that could also come in the education process for your instructors of getting them excited about inspiring and helping their participants, their swimmers, to start to see a bigger dream for themselves than they were thinking. Like, I was just thinking I would be able to get in the pool in case my kid fell in and like get them out. Right now, it's like, what else is possible? And what happens to people in their life when their dreams are expanded, right? Like, I don't think you can dream too big, but sometimes we dream way too small. And because we dream small, we just don't even know what's possible or and so having people around you and inspiring your instructors to want to be the inspiration to inspire people of like, there's so much more possible for you in life, and whether that's swimming in Hawaii or whether that is, overcoming your fear of heights or if it's whatever that piece is, or even overcoming your fear of what's the next chapter in my life going to look like. Like it's possible for you, so.
The one I was speaking of when you're hesitating, pulling in, I was like, totally loving your marriage and your spouse after being married for 20 years. Not just having the time tick by or that relationship with your kids that they grow up and still having that, being totally connected and inspired by your relationship with your kids, not just having the hours of, we know time will keep ticking by and things will happen.
It sure does. Well, I love those. So I want you, be thinking about planting seeds. That's always planting seeds when you have opportunity. Think about making connections for people. That's the kind of the planting seed thing. Putting some kind of structure where you can teach it without giving a ton of how, but some of the what, maybe a little how, but really a lot of the what of the structure, giving people opportunity to get a taste of that work from you. So whether it's a training or some way, and then continuing to put yourself out there, right? And then looking for ways to inspire your instructors to get them on board with inspiring their students. That it's more than just teaching people to swim. And so some of that is too of like looking for ways to create this is like, we're in this as a collective. This is bigger than the individual. This is the group. This is the mission. And getting people who believe in the mission on board and giving them the language to be talking about it.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that.
All right, good. So go play with it and see what happens. And let's talk about it as you test the waters with these little things. You can always, tag me and ask questions. And in the group, there's always people who have advice for you as well. I know you're a good advice giver in the group. So as we wrap up today, let me ask you two final questions. The first one is, what has been a benefit of being in the Sales Maven Society?
Oh, when I heard that question before, I'm like, so many benefits. so many benefits. I mean, really, it is there are not too many groups that I'm like Facebook groups that I'm a part of and that I check in with regularly, but I definitely check in with the Sales Maven Society. And because they're just they're really great and amazing people that are there. And I just love to, I think I told you this once, Nikki. I said, you're my very favorite person to be sold, to sell me things. I don't see myself as a big shopper or buyer of stuff. Like I just like hate the idea of sales, but I love for you to sell me things because I feel so good when you sell me things. And
thank you.
And it's, so it just really teaches me, like, people can feel really good when I sell them things.
Yeah.
And Nikki makes me feel really good and really genuinely welcomed and cared for and seen in this place. And, I think we can't have enough of that in our lives to feel like that. So that's a huge benefit I get from being part of Sales.
Oh, thank you. I was not expecting that answer, and you totally just made my day with it. So thank you so much. I know one of the benefits of us having you in the group, there's so many, but one in particular is you have now in the beginning stages of starting a study group. And I have been blown away by how many people are like, I want in Cori's study group of this content and how to apply it. So I'm so grateful to you that you are like, I'll take the lead on this. I'll create a study group. And how many people have been like, I'm in. I'm totally in.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'll be so fun. You have so much content for us. And I want to use it. And because I know every time I look at it and I use it and I apply it, it's so relevant and easy, but I need to go in and do it. So yeah.
Well, I'm excited for the study group and for that to unfold for all of you. I feel like there's so many people who want to be in it. Like somebody's going to have to say, like, I'll start the second study group, because you have so many people from like around the world now, like that are like, I'm in, right? So time zone issues too, but we'll see how that all goes.
Yeah.
All right. Last question for you is, how can people get a hold of you? Because I hope that as a listener, if you feel inspired, if there's some area of your life where you find you're holding yourself back with fear, like Cori may just be the person to help you make that shift and like reach that next goal. So how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, well, the best way to get a hold of me is through the swim school. So through Orca Swim School. You can email me at Cori@orcaswimschool.com or visit that website and, ask for info there, and you'll get connected up to me. So whether or not you're there for swimming or for life coaching, either one will funnel us still to the same place. That's really the easiest, best place. And there's a little freebie on our website that really helps people in that life coaching part that can be applied to the swimming or to their life. So we've got something on there that is for both directions. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Cori, so Cori spells her name Cori. So you can reach Cori at Orca Swim School. Her contact information will be in the show notes. So know that it's there for you if you want to reach out to her. And please do, if you feel inspired by this episode, reach out to her, because there's nothing more thrilling. I don't know. For me, I know I feel this way, but when I'm on somebody's podcast and somebody who's a listener reaches out and was like, oh my gosh, I loved what you said about this, so please reach out to Cori and let her know, what did you like about the podcast, or what did you find inspiring? So please do that. So thank you so much for being here, Cori. I'm so grateful to you for many, many reasons, and for saying yes to wanting to do an on-air coaching call. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Nikki. So fun and always so valuable.
Thank you. All right. Now, as a listener, you may know, or you may have heard that I am talking about questions, because it's all about conversations. And I really believe in teaching the art of the sales conversation. And so being somebody who can ask good questions is very important. So I want to give you a potential question today that you could be asking. By the way, these questions live inside the Sales Maven Society. There is training content built around them so you can come and check out more. But here's a question I want to just give you this morning, or I guess it depends on when you're listening to this episode, give you now. And here's the question. Ask somebody when appropriate, is there ever a chance you might consider working together? If you've not asked that question of somebody that you would really like to earn their business, you'll never know the answer. And you have just planted a seed by asking this question. So it's just a one question I want you to have in your back pocket. Again, like I said, if you'd like to learn more about how to utilize this question, when to ask it, what to do with your voice, all that good stuff, there is training inside the Sales Maven Society. So you're invited to come join the group. This is the best place for you to ignite your sales. This is a place where you and I connect. You get to connect with these amazing members that I have in the group. So you bring your questions, concerns. I provide answers, guidance, training to boost your confidence in all of your sales conversations and situations. And you can join the Sales Maven Society right now by going to salesmavensociety.com. This is a monthly membership. There's no long-term commitment. You can cancel at any point. It's $147 a month, but you can come for your first month for only $47 when you type in the coupon code 47trial. So come test, dip your toe in the water, find out more about the questions you should be asking in your sales conversations, connect with these amazing members, and I'm here to support you on your journey. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to Sales Maven. Visit us online at yoursalesmaven.com/maven for more resources to boost your confidence and skills.